Yeah, Shalom Israel. As usual, we know we come out week in, week out, and as often as the Most High makes it possible for us to push this word, so He can use it to try and wake up the elect of our people, or use it, I should say, to wake up the elect of our people. But before we start, we're going to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Wahah, Kadash. Yeah, double honors to the elders and apostles in Israel who will and teach well, to the Akim and the Iwas and Byras and those pushing this word in truth and sincerity, to the brothers and sisters in this truth. And we're out here in Mad Brixton. Spirits are out.
Red dots out as well. Ready.
Yeah, spirits are out.
Target practice.
Ladies getting mad. Losing her wit.
Real gentleman.
Yeah. Madness is going on, man.
Fuck you. It doesn't matter for this. You're a liar. Why such me? Someone said because liar. The younger son. Someone said because liar.
Yeah, the spirits are out, man. But as they say, this is the condition of the battle, eh?
That's it, man.
Yeah. Anyway.
What the hell out?
If we can start with Matthew 10:38. Shalom Israel. As you can see, our henchman is not with us today. He's not too well. So we're one man down. So I'm going to have to stand in for him with this lesson. So bear with me. Wasn't really prepared, bit short notice, but short volunteer, should I say? Thrusted in, yeah. The reason why I'm going on this today is because, like, one thing I've noticed with our people as well, we seem to like the idols, and like a lot of our people walking around with the Christian cross around their neck, the ankh as well, and you know we're caught up in very, you know, various different religions and practices which we were not supposed to to be involved in. Yeah. So let's and the funny thing is, like, a lot of people like to use this verse. Anytime you tell them about wearing the cross of Christianity, they like to use this verse in to say it's ordained as such. You can bring that out for us up. Matthew 10:38.
Look at Matthew chapter 10, verse 38. And he...
Matthew 11:28. John 8:32. Psalms 119. Yes.
Matthew chapter 10, verse 38 in red letters. And he that taketh
and this is the Messiah speaking.
And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me.
Now, they like to say they're wearing that cross to profess the Messiah, the one you call Christ, which his correct name is Yahushai. I know I can't pronounce it.
That's deep. Yeah, wow. That's really deep. What I wanted to say, right, is that the way in which the Romans' preferred method of execution was done was that the person that they were executing was half killed by scourging, which is you whipping them with like a cat of nine tails with metal hooks at the end of it, and you do that successively until they bled out, so that they're partially dying. Then you get them to carry the cross themselves. Right, so I don't want to, because I know you're going to summarize it, but I just want...
No, that's good. No, you go.
Go ahead. Yeah, so basically, when it says carry your cross, it doesn't mean put on the murder weapon on your neck, because if Big Brother Yahushai was taken out with a sword or was taken out with a gun, you would not feel comfortable putting a sword or a gun on your neck. No, I know they would because they do, but I'm just saying. Right?
It's true.
Yeah, they would because they do. But he was crucified at the time with the #1 method of execution, which was the cross, and he had to carry the burden. When he was stumbling, was it Simon of Cyrene? Simon of Cyrene, which is a place in North Africa. He was a Hebrew Israelite as well. He helped Yahushua to carry the burden for a bit. So he's going to get a reward for that. But that's actually what this means, what that means.
If you can read that again for us.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a point.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, bring it out again.
Book of Matthew chapter 10 verse 38. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me.
Like I said, you know, Christians like to use that as an excuse to put the idol around there. And you know, just using logic, you know, so basically anyone that hasn't got a cross around their neck is not following the Messiah. Which is pretty
Do you
strict.
have any questions for us about
But yeah, also when it says he that taketh not his cross, that's talking about the burdens of your time. So everyone's burden is different. You know, everyone has their own portion that they have to bear. You have to bear your own portion. So if you don't want to do that, it says he that, read that again?
Book of Matthew chapter 10 verse 38. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me.
So Yahushua wasn't talking a literal cross on a chain round your neck.
Is not worthy of me.
Because you have various burdens like trials and tribulation. The scripture speaks about gold tried in a fire. That's the cross that you have to bear. You know, you have to go through whatever trial it is and stay faithful to the Most High within that trial. And the scripture lets you know that He'll always make a way out. Yeah, He'll always make a way out for us. You know, alright, sis. Yeah. So we have to carry our burdens, man. You can't get away from. And this is why a lot of people go back in the world, because they think, I don't want to do all of that, it's causing too much problems. Well, things going to get worse. What are you going to do in that day? You know, things going to get worse on the Esau, so what? You rather bear the cross of Esau than bear the trials that the Most High puts you through? That's going to refine you and make you worthy in that day.
That's right.
See where you bought your clothes, that one.
As Yahushua was carrying that cross, the cross was heavy, so the load got heavier and heavier.
That's right. That's the point.
And just like the brother said, remember, he was scourged before he ended up carrying
So he
that
was
cross.
weak.
So he was already weak. And when you walk a couple, even if you just went shopping and you walk like a mile,
I know, right?
as you come out the shop with your bags, they're not as heavy. But as you continue on your journey, those bags get heavier. And the weight hasn't increased. You know? Yeah. Bring that again.
Book of Matthew chapter 10 verse 38. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me.
So what you are supposed to take up is the burdens and like the trial, because with this walk, there's gonna be a lot of trials, tribulations. You're gonna be isolated, especially from ones that you love. Yeah, those are the burdens that you will take up, and if you cast them away, you're not worthy of Yahushua. That's what he's saying.
Well, he did, like, when he had his burden, what did he do? He didn't say, chop. He went through with it, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we have to do the same thing.
Yeah. Bring it.
He said, Book of Matthew chapter 16 verse 24. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me,
That's right.
let him deny himself
That's right. That's right.
and take up
When it
his
says deny yourself, denying the things of the world, man.
Flesh.
Yeah.
Deny the pleasures. Yeah.
Of this world.
Book of Matthew chapter 16 verse 24. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me.
And we have to keep saying it. Any Israelite man, woman, and child.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is 2 Ezra 16 and 73 says, then shall they be known who are my chosen. Yeah. And they shall be tried as a gold in the fire. So those that don't want to take up the burdens that the Most High puts upon you. Remember it says, my yoke is easy or light. I have to paraphrase it. Compared to what we have to go through as well. You know? And what is that? Keeping the laws. You know, having faith in him. You know, loving your brother like you love yourself. Not whoring out your sisters. Like, how is that a burden that's too hard to carry? You know what I'm saying?
And you know, as the brother said, touching on even the laws, some people say, oh, it's too much, I can't do it. I mean, you've got to start somewhere. I remember when I first got into the war, the first thing I started to do was abstain from certain foods. And also started to let my beard grow. Those were the first things I actually started to do because I found them more easier. The other things, you know, in time will come in time, but there has to be a starting point rather than just saying, cha, you know? You've got to start somewhere, and for me, I mean, the other brothers probably have different ways they started, but for me, that's how I started, recognizing certain foods now I can't eat, and start to cut them out my diet. You know, certain things I was able to cut straight away, and other things it took time as I kind of grew in understanding.
Bacon was a bit harder.
No, that wasn't quite easy. But like other things, you know, which as I started to grow in understanding, it made it easier now because I kind of understood why I shouldn't do this, not just doing it for not doing it safe, so to speak, you know? Yeah.
And the thing is, you have to remember that the scriptures there trying to bring us back to how we should be. Because we've been conditioned in a society that's totally contrary to the scriptures. You know?
That's right.
So it might seem strange at first, but you know, with repetition, everything's become more easier, man.
That's right. Yes, please.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 28. It says, come unto me, all ye that labour and are heavy laden.
So all you that are heavy laden and under pressure, especially with the lust of this world and everything that, you know, that looks nice from the outset. Come unto Yahushua. He said he will give you rest. Read that again for a second.
Matthew 11 and 28. Come unto me, all ye that labour and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest.
How would he give you rest? He'll give you rest because what he does, he teaches you the laws, statutes and commandments.
But also he teaches you who you are. Like, I know the chains them that we have in our head tie us down. So knowing that you're Israel, knowing that who your God is, knowing what's required of you, knowing why you're in the condition you're in, how to get out of the condition that you're in, these are things that are going to give you peace of mind. You know?
I think this young lady might have some questions for us.
No,
Do you have some questions?
No, I'm just telling her, I'm just explaining to who you guys are. That's all.
Yeah.
She's
Would
never...
you like to ask us anything?
No, it's...
you have a question?
Feel free.
You want to ask her, you want to ask her a question?
Yeah. Well, if not, you can just listen.
She's shy, man.
No problem. But if you got a question, or tell Dad, and he can ask. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I'll tell you what to ask him. Say, who are the Hebrew Israelites?
That's right.
So who are you guys?
Alright, what we do, we come and teach our people that the Bible is actually a true book, but we've never been taught properly. So what our people follow is what's known as religion, Christianity. That's not biblical. They teach you things that's based on things in the Bible, but what that does as well, it brings contradiction. So like for instance, they say God loves everybody. That's not in the Bible. God don't love everybody. It sounds strange, but what he does do, he loves you. And that's the key. Let me read something to you. Get me Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Let me see if anyone's ever told you this.
So let me just clarify. What my brother's saying is, what we do is we come out of the Bible rather than just talk without proving it. So now we're going to prove what your brother said.
Because what you find now, when you walk around here sometimes, you see a lot of Christians handing out leaflets and they'll say, Jesus loves you, thing like that. But have you ever seen any of them open the Bible and actually read it?
Sure.
Exactly. But they're telling you what the Bible says though. That sounds very strange. Like me telling you what that leaflet says, but the leaflet's closed. I'm not reading from it. It makes no sense. So this is what they won't teach you.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. And it reads, for thou art an holy people.
Holy means set apart. So you got a number of pair of shoes, right? And you got your favorite pair, right? You don't treat them the same as the others, do you? So that's what God's saying. You're holy. He doesn't treat you the same he treats others.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee.
He chose you
to be a special people unto himself. Above.
Not equal to.
Above.
Not below.
Above. All people.
No, some people.
All people.
No, just the bad ones.
All people that are upon the face of the earth.
Now, people going to say, well, God made everybody. Get me 26 and 19.
Bro, we're going to have to go now.
Right, let me just read that one more.
This
26
is
and 19.
Deuteronomy chapter 26 and verse 19. And it reads, and to make thee high.
It says to make you high.
Above all nations which he has made.
That cuts that. He made everybody, but he said, you know what, you guys are going to be my favorite, man. He said he made you high above them,
That all in praise.
In praise. So in praise, we're above these other nations. But we're a kingdom of kings and priests.
In name.
In name. Our name is Israel. In the Hebrew, it's Yasha'Allah. It means Prince of Power. Yeah? They, like, black is nothing. Are you black? You're not even half. There's no such thing as half.
You are what your father is.
You are what your father is, man.
Maybe he was there.
Yeah.
Don't start nothing today. Don't start that today with me, bro.
No, please start it.
It says in praise and in name.
And in honor.
And in honor. These nations are actually meant to be your servants.
You are what your father is.
Yeah.
And that's a fact.
That's a fact.
And you're above all of these nations, man. They're not going to teach you that in school. They're going to say, oh, we're all equal. We're not all equal. Why are our people always at the bottom if we're all equal?
You see,
If I may say as well,
if I've got a child, right, for another woman, other than your mother, it's still your full brother.
That's right.
That's
You know
right.
why?
That's the point. Yeah.
Because the man's blood and DNA is more dominant over the
That's
woman's.
right. That's right.
Yeah?
So that's why
Always remember that. Yeah?
That's why it's dangerous for you to go with someone of the other nation. Because if you have a child, you and that child is two different races.
All right, bro, we won't go into that one.
Well, that's what they're meant to be.
Yeah, I know.
It will happen. It will happen. Why? Get me Deuteronomy 30 and 1. Listen to this.
This is the book.
What the brothers asking, like, we just read out these other nations are meant to be our servants. They said, why isn't it not happening? Well,
that's a good question.
That is a good question.
yeah, but there's a reason why we're in the condition that we're in. So Deuteronomy 30 and 1.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 1. And it reads, and it shall come to pass
When it happened,
when all these things are come upon thee.
what it's talking about is the curses.
It's going to say,
Yeah? Oh, God.
yeah, the blessings and the curses which I have set before thee.
So when you read chapter 28, we had a choice. We went into a covenant. The covenant was keep my commandments and be above all nations, or break it and be in the condition we're in. So it says,
beneath all nations.
so we broke it. So it says, when all these things have come to pass, because we was experiencing the blessings under King David and King Solomon, and from then it's like basically intermittent, but mainly the curses. So when these things come to pass, God,
Yeah, the blessings and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind.
this is what we're trying to teach our people now, to call these things to mind. How? We go through the prophecies and show them, look, it said this is going to happen. When you look at our history, it happened to us. So we're calling these things to mind, remembering who we are, which is Israelites, God.
It's gonna. I want you to hear this bit as well when it says, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither the Lord thy God has driven thee.
Yeah, so we as a people, we've been scattered through slavery throughout all the nations. So this word is now going out to our people throughout all these nations. No. The word will reach who it needs to reach. The Bible, there's a verse in the Bible that says prophesy to the wind. So if no one don't listen to us, the word is still going out. It says my sheep hear my voice. So those that's meant to hear it will hear it. That's how the Most High works.
Eyes to see it, those that have eyes to see and ears to hear.
That's right.
It's just like, for example, what the brother said about those that were here. Just like a dog whistle. If you blow a dog whistle, the frequency is too high for human ears, but a dog will hear it. So those.
Hold on, let me answer that first question. Go on.
Continue on.
Yeah, read on.
Yeah, verse 2 of Deuteronomy chapter 30. And thou shalt return unto the Lord thy God.
So when he says we shall return, meaning we start to keep the covenant now. Go on.
And shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Verse 3. That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity.
So that's when all of this is going to start to change now. When we start to come back to what we should be doing, then he can start doing what he said he would do. So that's why we come out here to teach our people, you know what, this is who you are, the Bibles are true. They are listening. We're not here for the masses. Like I said, those that were meant to hear will hear.
The Bible said that they want to listen, so they're just fulfilling prophecy.
Anyway,
that's why we're not here to try to convert anybody. Like the brother said, all we're here to do is be the mouthpiece, push the word, and those that are meant to stop and listen.
If you can't get them to listen, what are they going to change?
But watch this. It's like this. It's like this. If you have corn in your hand and you throw it, those who's supposed to eat will eat. Those who won't. And that's what we're doing here. Only those that will eat. That's who this is for. Not everybody's going to eat, because not everybody likes corn.
And the Heavenly Father never dealt with the big multitude. He's always dealt with a remnant. He's always dealt with a select few. It's always about quality over quantity.
And when you read the Bible, it says a remnant shall be saved. So like all of these people watching today, let's say we're going to take a remnant. Are you going to take the masses? Just a few. Exactly.
Isn't something more special when a select few are, you don't want to go to something, you don't want
and everybody's there.
You don't want to put item of clothing that everybody's got. You want to stick out. You know, that's why the Most High called us.
I mean, it's just like
we for the people.
Yeah, but
that don't mean that. Yeah, look, us being out here trying to correct our people is us seeing the downtrodden state they're in, which is making us weak. So what do? We try and give them the same good news that we receive. How you receive it is up to you. Take it out with the Most High.
And what about this? If you were having a party, do you invite everybody, or do you have a select few that you invite? Honestly speak, think about that.
And this is good news, man. The Bible talks about, someone get out, you got your precept, bring out your precept.
No, you covered it already.
Oh, okay. Well, no, the gap is a process of time.
Because it's no use to say it and store the ground.
No, but then it
Somebody need to hear it.
Yeah, but you're answering your own question, because that's what the brother told you. You just answered your own question. So when you throw the seed, now let me finish. When you throw the seed, you don't throw it on stony ground because you know it's not going to yield.
Yeah.
So when we throw the seeds in the air, the Most High already said his sheep, which is the fertile soil, will hear and they will repent and be converted.
Right.
The others just going to go over their heads.
Something that he blessed you with wisdom. And if the wicked has wisdom to reach the maximum people,
wicked. No, man. Someone get me Surah 19.
Are you affiliated with a church?
22.
no, I'm not sure.
No.
Oh, right.
Listen to
We
this.
met him before. Yeah,
Surah 22.
What I'm saying, if you look at Elon Musk, he reached millions of people with his calamity, with what he did. So, in the olden days,
They gave to yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
they take my idea. You understand
But here,
Somebody has to written it.
but this is what the brother going to read.
Written in
But
a
you said,
scroll, it lasts for hundreds of years.
but that's why we got these scriptures now.
The scripture says, "Follow not a multitude to do wicked
That's
and
right.
evil," right? And also says, "Straight is the way, narrow is the path. There are few that
So
find it."
you come as a
One side's not dealing
disciple.
with the multitude.
You come as a disciple. That's how I see it.
We're disciples of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. You would know as Jesus Christ.
That's right. But you have to have an extension of the word that go out in different ways.
It is. Camera. YouTube.
I know.
That's why this word's being spread across the floor. You got brothers in every country teaching.
That's
what we're
right.
teaching.
Same.
I'm doing the same thing.
But I'm saying to you,
But do you acknowledge that what you just asked us?
yes, I acknowledge that. So when you notice in the Holy Language, the script that was written in 20 almost million years, on the bottom of Egypt, they go and take it out. They say, see the scroll here.
Well, that probably were our records, isn't it? Our records are preserved here.
No, it's a record.
In the Bible.
Yeah.
Our records are,
So it's
our
not
records are
necessary for the wisdom to know.
But I want to touch that thing, but you said the wicked got wisdom. This is what the Bible says.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 19, verse 22. It says, "The knowledge of the wicked."
No, read that again.
Salaki. So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 19, verse 22. The knowledge of wickedness
It says the knowledge of wickedness. You said the wicked got wisdom. So
is not wisdom.
it's not wisdom. Because, hear this.
They got knowledge. Like you said.
Yeah, but hear this now. A nuclear bomb or nuclear power. That could be used for good. Hold on, let me finish. That can be used for good. It can cut down people's energy bills and rah. But what does the wicked use it to do? Exactly. So, and not just destroy, you make something that destroys your enemy and yourself. So where's the wisdom in that?
There is no wisdom.
You just make, if you had said to make something that destroyed them and you could. Yeah, read that again.
Sirach 19 and 22 says, "The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence."
The council of sinners, so you talk about Elon Musk and what he's doing. That's
I'm
not
just
prudent.
saying as an example.
No, I understand that. I understand that.
I'm saying something. I learned something about writing. Writing, it cannot be destroyed.
Can be, right? Can be.
So if you look at the scroll in Egypt, like many hundred years ago, when they go to find it, they put it on the graph and they said, we will bring it up. So they use all technology and said, this is the scroll that was written that
Yes.
Do you see? And those scrolls is thousands of years ago. So,
But can I just add, but they were preserved.
that's what I'm telling you.
Because the ones that were not put in jars and put in the sarcophagus or put in the tomb, they didn't survive. The carvings survived. So you have to acknowledge that they were
There is
preserved.
something called
They were spelled out.
technology. Even when you burn this, if you gather the dust together, you start to put the camp, check it. The literally written come up before you.
No, man.
No.
Not in the book, man.
Because, but you see, what you're saying is not correct, because it's just like when the Bible was burned. What happened is, Ezra's had to get the wisdom to have it rewritten. Now, if he could have done what you said, why didn't he just get the charts together and use something and get back the technology and get back the writing? That's impossible.
Why you not read from the scriptures of the Bible? Do you also read from the Quran?
Where?
No, I've read the Quran, but I've read the Quran to compare what it says about the Bible with the Bible. It's called comparative analysis. So when you take the Quran and you take the Bible and you take what the Quran says, what the Bible says, you realize that there's some flaws in the Quran. I can pull it out right now. There's flaws in it. And the Quran actually says where there is a dispute between the Quran and the Bible, the Haftarah, which is the Bible, should be the determining factor. So why am I going to read a book and the book
It
says,
says it in the Quran.
why am I going to read a book and the book itself says if there's an issue, go to the Bible? Then I'm going to go to the Bible.
The Quran say that?
Yeah.
Can you show me that?
Can I show you that
Can
the,
you,
the
that verse, please? You have to find it, but if you can. I'm not stopping you from doing your thing.
No.
No.
We know how to answer questions.
What you call the word of God?
And you lot ain't got no buildings and all that. You don't.
It's right here. I mean, when Christ was walking, teaching, they call it, did he have a building, or was he going around?
Any house of God?
Right. No, but he walked around the people because you remember, right? Let me give you this example. Now, if you're sick, yeah, like the physician, like when you're sick, you go to the physician, yeah, to be healed. Now, those people in churches, right? Now, you got the pastor with the congregation. Now, they already claim they know the word, but yet they go to a building every Sunday, which is not even the Lord's Day anyway. Right. But then the real sick people is on the streets. So shouldn't you, as a physician, go to where the real sick is? Expect, or should you expect them to always come to you? If you have healing, shouldn't you go to where the sick is? Christ will walk among the people and heal. But yet, these Christian pastors, they're in a building locked away and you have to go to them. And that's if you're well enough to even get out of your bed on a Sunday to go to them. Not everybody's well.
This Christian disagree with you.
Every day is the Lord.
Now, hold on. Wait. I'm gonna address what you said. Now, you said every day is the Lord's day. Now, when you go to Genesis, now I'm not saying you can't worship Him every day, but He chose a day that is the day. Listen, God can do what He likes, and God chose a day. He said the seventh day is the day you worship Me. Yeah, the seventh day of the week. No, the Sabbath is the day that you worship Him.
Question.
Right? Hold on, my friend. Right? Now, that's what the Bible says. Now, when you go to hold on. No, I'm not even going to Luke. When you even go to Exodus, and when you go to even Exodus 20 and 8, it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Now, it doesn't say remember all of the days. It says remember the Sabbath day to keep holy. It says 6 days thou shalt work and do thy labor, but on the seventh is the day of rest. In it you shall do no work, and it lists this like that. So it shows the Most High God ordained the seventh day.
Okay, can I have a question? If you have your child sick, you have an animal hanging, and it's the Sabbath day, are you going to leave them to death?
Now,
of the Sabbath day?
Now, I'm going to answer that now. Did Christ say, now, hang on, did Christ say you couldn't, He said you don't work, but you can do good on the Sabbath. So helping someone, is that work, or is that doing good? Answer that. Right. So is that unlawful? Is it unlawful to do good on the Sabbath day? Right, so you just answered your own question.
What are we doing today?
We are doing good on the Sabbath day. We come out to speak to our people.
The question that you have not answered, I'll answer last.
Yeah, because you were scoffing, man. You talked about 11 laws of my heart. You didn't get that right.
Okay. According to you, there's 42, but 11.
No, you ask any Egyptian scholars, they'll tell you 48 laws.
My main question is this.
And they're not even laws, they're confessions. And how do you govern a whole community with 11 laws?
Let me ask my question. My main question is this. The Bible, the Quran, the Torah, all of these books of Abrahamic believers. Here we go again, absolutely. I'm saying tens of thousands of years, written in stone, as somebody just said here. We have scriptures, ancient scriptures, written on the walls and temples all over Ethiopia, all over Africa, showing that we were before Abraham. Why do you just stick to one book given to you, beaten into you on the plantation? There is truth in the Bible. There is truth in the Bible. There is truth in the Quran. There is truth in the Torah.
This is what he does. He asks a question, and when we go talking, he constantly talks. This is what he does.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't want to listen, go about your business.
You don't exactly. Here we go.
We're going to address what he's saying.
No, but we dealt with him before, and it's that same problem. He was the poor. He was the poor.
He's not here. He's not.
I'm here to tell you.
He's here to push his narrative.
That's right.
And the funny thing,
Here's what you do.
You're coming to teach us.
So here what?
You don't want to listen to the truth. My question is,
last time we dealt with this brother, right? And we told him this. We come out here week in, week out, right?
There is scripture,
Through the power of the Spirit, the Most High to try and wake up people,
that's all he
right?
does.
This is our platform, right?
This is all he does.
If the brother wants to teach his people, guess what he can do?
All he does is
He can jump online, or he can go down there and start his own
You cannot
But guess what he's not going to do? He's not going to do that because he's not here to learn.
Lady wants to talk.
No, but this is the problem. This is why we don't deal with him.
You don't deal with
Listen,
me. You're going to tell me.
if you want to teach, go away with your femininity, man.
Do you see why we don't want to deal with him? I'm just telling you.
My brother.
I'm not here to give
Read that.
Genesis. I'm not here to. I don't want to.
Read.
In the beginning.
I am not dealing with the Bible.
They make them. I'm dealing with this.
Don't worry about him. Read.
Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Shabbat stone.
And the earth was
Tens of
without
thousands of
form
years before the Bible.
and void.
You hear that? The earth was, in the beginning, God created the earth, and the earth was void without form, meaning there was no law, because people were lawless.
This is the source of
And
the Bible.
darkness was upon the face of the deep.
There you go.
And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters.
That's what he does. He comes with these nonsense. That's what he does.
This is
If
nonsense.
that is any good,
I'm telling you,
why don't you go and teach these people?
the source of the Bible.
These people, they're on the...
He's one of the lost. I'm not lost.
He's lost.
He hasn't
I'm not lost. Before the Bible. That's what
Let's get back.
This is the source of the Bible.
He doesn't listen. You can't
Before the
correct
Bible.
someone who doesn't
Before
listen.
the Quran.
Let's get back.
Before the Torah. And that's why you can never honestly answer my
No, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm saying, you're going to have this.
We know that.
We know that.
We know that.
What devil?
What devil?
What devil? After the devil comes in many
That's right.
And which is your right.
There's no
And the
such thing
people
as
of
the
God.
devil.
Yeah?
Don't you know that?
so-called God come in
There
many
is
forms.
no such thing as the devil.
No, but
You ain't called no problem.
We dealt with him
brother,
before, man.
you see the issue though? He just wants to talk, and then he believes he has something to say.
I am not
so
a believer.
hear what?
I don't believe in it.
Well, go and teach people
I said
then.
this to
Why is he
him.
not a believer?
Well, so you're Noah.
Hear this, my brother.
The knowing of God is a sense
So
of
you're Noah.
culture and
So
spirituality.
if you don't believe, you know.
You were beaten to accept
Answer the question.
You were
Answer the
beaten,
question.
enslaved to
Let's not
accept
even
it.
deal with
waste of
it.
time.
Let's not deal with it.
It's a waste of time. It's a waste of
The man,
This
listen.
is what I'm saying.
We're not believers.
People only want to teach when they see
know
us teaching.
God.
That's
You'll
right.
never go and get yourself
right.
a platform and teach no one.
That's
Because
how
he can't teach no
because he
one.
doesn't know nothing. That's
You know what I'm
why
saying?
he can't teach.
So
And you
what
know-
they do, they come and
That's right.
try and
Here is my
cause confusion.
Here is my
Confusion. You've
Here's
seen it
my
for yourself.
platform. My brother, it's not confusing. There's nothing confusing. I'm here. No,
There you go.
I'm challenging. I'm challenging.
in the church.
Here's my challenges. You said there's no platform.
Yo, shush. Let me talk,
Here's my
man.
platform.
Go on.
Here is my platform. My arts community.
Shush.
Talk.
He caused confusion, man.
There's no confusion.
And everything was peaceful before he came.
Lock themselves, and they want to sit and come to them, and they don't go to the street and hear
They don't, because all they do-
Please.
Good.
When somebody ill, did the doctor come to the house and treat you, or you go to the doctor?
Doctors
what did
come to the
Christ do?
house also. Listen, don't tell me that. Yes, they do. Because we have nurses that go round to people's houses. Even today, you have what they call community nurses that they literally get in cars. Listen, where I live, there's elderly and there's nurses that come every so often to my neighbour. They come to the house and they knock the door and they go in and they give them their insulin or whatever they have to give them. You can't say that. It's fact. Because I've seen it myself, and it happens regularly.
And you know what they do?
now with these big hospitals being
Don't
built.
put your confusion somewhere else. We'll bring it somewhere else.
Just
You're
don't talk.
talking and it's coming on our recording. I don't want to hear what you've got to say.
Just ignore it.
Because you don't answer, you're going to get aggressive.
No, you don't keep quiet enough
And
to
I'm
listen.
at the end of the day, you don't get aggressive. We're here to argue. I'm asking you a question.
Brother,
And only stop.
brother, speak
I know you can't.
I
don't interfere.
No, but he's going to interfere anyway. He's going to interfere. So just talk to us. Talk to us.
I'll ask you for 1 minute. Please. Thank you. Oh, you already okay. If you can I ask a question, and he's got the answer. Respect you. I'm going to come back and ask the question again.
No, man. Go back.
No. He can come back if he wants.
The Bible. Yes, read the only book of scriptures. Hello, sir. This man ain't going to read unless he's the Bible is not the only book of scriptures. Before the Bible, there was, and that's what I cannot understand.
Just listen, ignore him. That's what the devil does.
The Bible,
he will read it. You need to.
Because you keep telling him, just ignore him.
The Bible, I'm going to go there. The Bible powerful. I hear you.
Yo, sister.
I hear you. This is their calling. You ain't going to care what they got to say. You move over there.
It's a public one.
That's where we learn.
It's a public one.
Guess what you're going to need to learn? Shut your mouth.
To learn, you have to be quiet.
That's where we learn.
Not listen to God.
Just read.
That is it.
Thank you, sir. No. I don't.
So this is Surah Al-An'am, which is Surah 6, and this is verse 14. I hope I'm saying it correctly. Say, is it other than Allah I should take as a protector, creator of the heavens and earth? By the way, Allah means power. While it is He who feeds and is not fed. Say, O Muhammad, indeed I have been commanded to be first among you who submit to Allah. So the reason why I'm reading that is because this is stating out that Muhammad was the first Muslim. Therefore, every single person that was prior to Muhammad were not Muslims. That's on his word. Right? Then the next page is...
he was the first Muslim.
Yes.
You want me to read it? God Himself. God Himself manifests Himself in His...
No, I'm reading No, look at here. Look, read it here. Say, O Muhammad, I have been commanded to be first among you to submit to Allah. So what does submitting to Allah mean?
The first among you.
Yeah, what does it mean?
I'm among you, and I'm the
No. What does it mean? What does it mean? I'm the first among you to submit to Allah. What does that mean?
I'm the first among you.
That's right. So right.
It doesn't mention the first Muslim.
Who's he speaking to?
And I know
He's speaking to the Muslims. So if he's the first among the Muslims, he's talking to the Muslims. So he's the first
among you.
among the Muslims.
He's talking to his people, the Muslims. That's what...
This is the problem we have.
This is...
The Muslims.
Don't put me there.
It's not tricky.
I'm trying to answer your question.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, when he's saying that, is not the only book. The Quran also tell you before Abraham, the Torah and Christ.
There's a contradiction there. There's a contradiction.
Who used to write those?
I'm saying
Before God created, who used to write those?
we used to write. Because we is what the meaning of the civilization.
What is the meaning?
Why that's so before?
This is a book given to
Right,
us.
so-
So what does Muslim mean to you?
So this is Surah.
What does Muslim mean?
What I changed it around and wrote it and
God.
printed it.
Yeah, I'm here to talk to you.
You need to go back
God
to
is a spirit.
You're not listening.
I am saying, God is a
They will tell you
spirit.
that Muslim means one that submits to
The
God.
spirit, the breeze that blows, that's God. The sun that shines, the rain that falls, is God.
Anything Muslim is living. You're living.
Alright, let me just read this out. And then
Breathing, but the breath of the Almighty. Yeah, every creature, it's a living thing. Every living thing. Every living thing.
So you believe in Satan?
So that's why
don't engage. Brother, let me answer
But when you
your
don't want earthly, and you cannot serve man and mama at the same time. If God,
So when you say to me, if I be my community, I'm the first among them. So that's what I believe the Prophet Muhammad is saying. I said among his people to become
If Muslim first breathe, how can he be the first?
I want to engage with you.
because I know I don't have to believe that's the whole time. It's to learn, isn't it? You've got to learn this thing. Because then we say, yeah, we're Muslim. And then say, what is a Muslim? And Muslims told you that it's a living, breathing thing.
And how can he be the first?
Among his people, among the people of Mecca.
So his people weren't breathing?
Yeah, but they're ignorant, people of ignorant. Instruments to teach them, innit?
Yeah, but you said Muslim is someone that's...
No, the first question I asked you, I said to you that...
That's me, and I'm trying to answer it.
Calm down.
I speak to everybody, yeah? I'm a man of God, I speak to everybody. So if I speak to an individual and there's a crowd, I speak to everybody. So you don't need to get... I'm still airing, I'm talking to your brother. I'm still speaking to... I'm still hearing what you're saying. I want knowledge. I want knowledge.
Say your piece, man. Say your piece, man.
No, I think I'm finished.
No.
I can forget what I say. I'm going to go to my brother and hear what he's got to say.
Now answer your first question now?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, right. So I read the first precept, which I showed you, right? You explained it as far as you believe. You used the word believe, what you believe. I'm not challenging
what you believe. Did I use that word believe? I don't use it. All right.
I'm not challenging what you believe.
Yeah.
I'm just reading
What he
Quran.
said, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So then the next verse states, Surah 3, verse 93, all food was lawful to the children of Israel. Now remember, when you asked me the question, I said I read the Quran, I read the Bible, I lined them up, and I saw some inconsistency, right?
Yeah.
So this is another one. All food was lawful to the children of Israel, except what Israel, Jacob, had made unlawful to himself, right? That's a contradiction there, because we were commanded what to eat, what not to eat. Before the Torah was revealed, say, O Muhammad, so bring the Torah and recite it. You should be truthful. Right? Now there's many other scriptures in here that validate the Torah is preeminent. Right? This is Muhammad saying recite the Torah. The Torah is the Bible.
Can't learn it. That's what he's saying.
No, let me show you. So bring the Torah and
recite.
If you should be right. So there's many others, right? There's scriptures in here that states that
I'm talking about the, you were saying read the Bible.
That states that
the Torah is the Bible.
Bible is an English word for Torah, Hathawara.
First 5 books.
Yes.
Of the Bible.
There's no other Torah.
Yes.
Yeah, but
just now.
Yeah, but it's just the Bible.
I don't know it off by heart.
The Bible is a Bible.
The first Bible.
All right, here we go.
The Bible is a book.
Surah 29,
Bible just means a
verse 27.
Yeah, compiled of different books.
So if we're breaking it down, you got the Torah, which would be known as the first 5 books. Then you got the prophets, that would be the Tanakh. And then the New Testament, that would be known as the Gospels.
So the question was
Surah 29.
the Bible.
The Torah, yeah. And it tells you that he gave the Torah as a guidance. He didn't say he gave the Quran as a guidance. The Quran said it gave, let me get my Quran.
No, it's here. Here. Look,
so which one said the Quran is not a guidance?
No,
not for no one.
Look here. So I want you to see. And we gave to him Isaac and Jacob and placed in his descendants and scripture. Right, so what is the scripture?
The words.
Right! Right, so this is Muhammad saying that.
And this is the scripture he's referring to, not this.
Oh, well, who recited the Quran? Because he didn't write it. He recited it and somebody else wrote it. Because he can write. So he said this and somebody wrote it down, right? Right, so he said it. Right, let me pick up the Bible.
And you know one thing people miss? What does the word Quran mean?
Recite.
I was asking.
But I wouldn't say, we said recite, I would say read.
No, it means recite.
Recite, learn.
No, recite is different from learning. Because when I'm going to tell you, when you're reciting something that was written prior. That's what you're doing.
Read.
No, he's He's reciting, saying something that was so obviously. And the point I'm making. Listen. And how did Muhammad get a lot of his stuff? He used to work with the Jews and he used to question them on their belief. That's how he managed to write this in the first place. When I say right, I mean yes, but you know what I mean. I'm not going to get technical.
Lady said the spirit of the Almighty.
Can I show you?
No, not the Quran.
No. Come. The angel then. Come. Gabriel.
That's what they say, man.
That's what they say.
So you're doing good. So let's go again. So this is Surah 72.
Yeah.
Surah.
Good. I want the crowd. Close that.
I'm listening.
Surah.
I'm listening.
You're listening to me. I'm speaking to this brother here.
But he's listening.
Just give him space. Give the man some space, because they've got a video camera. No, you can listen, but it's the way you make me come. Let's turn around and then no worry.
Right. Surah Al-Jinn, verse 1. We have heard an amazing what? And what does it have in parentheses?
Recitation.
So what?
Verbally.
No, come. We have heard an amazing. What is that? Quran, right? Or what does that say then?
Recitation.
So that's what it means. So now the question you have to ask, what are they reciting? Because if it means to recite, hold on, sister. So the question you have to ask now, if that is a recitation, what is he reciting? Have you ever given that any thought? What is he reciting? Because when you go into that book, there's no prophecies. I'll challenge the top imam to show me one prophecy in the Quran. Whereas the Bible, there's many. That's come to pass. Hold on. How's that a prophecy? Anybody can say that.
Statement of fact.
Hold on. I haven't finished.
Don't laugh. No.
Did I laugh?
No, we're not
No. What I'm trying to say, you ask a question. If I prophesy to say, my religion is going to go every 4 corners of the earth. Right. And I prophesy.
No, but let me say, no, it's not. Hold on. Should I tell you? Hold on. I'm going to tell you why it's not a prophecy. Because, hold on.
Not me.
Listen. Hold on. No, wait. No. Hold on. I'm going to tell you why what you just said is not a prophecy. Because why? It was already in the Bible that we was going to be sent out to all nations and serve gods of wood and stone. So he's just repeating what was in the Bible. Remember, the Quran was written about 740 years after the Bible, in the 7th century, after the Bible was completed.
700 years.
So basically, if he's going to say, listen, I want somebody to give me a prophecy in the Quran that you cannot find in the Bible, that's what I challenge someone to do. And not yet one Muslim or any of the hierarchies is able to do that. Even a couple weeks ago, I was talking to 2 Muslims and I asked them the very question to show me one prophecy in the Quran. They couldn't do it. Let me show you one prophecy in the Bible that has even been fulfilled. Can you give me Deuteronomy 28? Hold on, watch this. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. I'm going to show you a prophecy in the Bible that has been fulfilled, and I'm going to show you a prophecy that is to come. Let's get showing you that the Bible is a true book. This is why you cannot negate the Bible for
that Bible there, the King James version.
Yes.
Babylon King.
Now you see, now that's another issue. We can get into that. Hold on, brother. We'll get into that. Yeah,
but hear me them.
No, I'm going to hear you, but I haven't finished my point. Okay. So what I'm trying to say to you, what you just said, we can address that. Listen, up here, we don't run from nothing.
Right.
Let me tell you that now.
No,
you're missing the point. The point I'm making that we will tackle any question that you throw at us. But let me deal with.
Can you listen to one question?
Listen, we're dealing with our
We're
people.
dealing with him.
Can I
Finish dealing with this brother.
No.
We do things indecently. We do things decently in order.
I'm giving him my time.
No, but I'm already tackling a point. I'm already tackling a point.
What this man is
I'm
saying.
already tackling a point.
Deuteronomy,
Now listen to this. Listen to this.
Deuteronomy chapter
Listen to
28.
this.
But why should we listen to you? We're here for our people.
We are already talking to someone. So you want us to stop talking to him to talk to you.
Have some manners, man.
Patience and manners goes a long way.
Listen,
Patience and manners go a long way.
No, but once we finish with
But
you,
we're
then
dealing
we'll
with
deal
you
with
because
him.
we
I'm
was
not gonna
making a
leave you.
point about prophecy, right? Read that up. Listen to
Book of
this.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68.
Now, this is Deuteronomy, the book of Deuteronomy. This is Moses with the children of Israel in, I'll give you the quick brief. This is Moses with the children of Israel when they've come out of Egypt, and they remember they were slaves in Egypt. So now they've come out of Egypt under the Exodus, and they're in the wilderness. Now Moses is telling the children of Israel something very specific. Read.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Right, hold that there. He said the Lord will bring that into Egypt again. If you can give me Exodus 20 and 2 or Deuteronomy 5 and 6, whichever one you get first, whichever one you get. Now notice how he just said, the Lord shall bring you into Egypt again. Now, when we went into, remember, we went into Egypt. Now the whole nation came out of Egypt. Now Moses is telling that the children of Israel that the Lord's going to bring you back into Egypt again. Right, but listen to this. Hold on. Listen to this. Listen to this.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 5.
Hold on. You're not going to hear it if you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 5 verse 6. It says, I am the Lord, thy power, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage.
Right, so here you go. So Egypt is referred. Egypt is referred, is synonymous to bondage, meaning slavery. So basically, remember, sisters. Remember, we were slaves in Egypt, so we just came out.
Who were slaves?
The Israelites. He's talking to the Israelites. That's why I made clear. I could read Deuteronomy 1:1 just to prove that point. Because we will prove everything. Hold on. There's a point I'm going. Now watch this, lad.
When you said
No, but he's making a point to answer your question.
Yes, but what I'm doing, I'm not going to do what people do. People just chat. I'm going to go to the scriptures to prove my position. So that way you can't say, I'm saying it, because it's what the brothers are reading. Yeah? Right, so read that again. So now understand that Egypt is synonymous to slavery. Now when you read that verse again with that understanding, listen to this.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Or slavery again.
With ships.
Now it says with ships. Now this was a future prophecy. Now you got to remember when the children of Israel went from into Egypt. When they went into, remember they went into Egypt before they can leave. Remember they walked into Egypt and they walked out. They didn't need a ship because when you look on the geological map where Egypt is to Israel, you can walk. But why has the Lord said they're going to go back by ship? See this?
a future prophecy, as you said.
Exactly my point. Now read on.
It's not talking about the actual land of Egypt.
Right. Yeah. Now read on. Read it from the top again. Hold on. Read
Book of
it again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With ships. Listen.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Hold on, he said he's going to bring you back into slavery, but this time with ships. So in history, what people do you know went into slavery on ships? Throughout the whole of history that you can scour.
Yeah.
No,
Hold on. But remember, he's talking to Israelites in remember, it's a future prophecy, and Moses is talking to Israelites. So if he said he's going to take the children of Israel back in slavery by ships, and this happened to a certain group of people, what must they be today? Hold on, before you say that, watch this. Somebody give me Ecclesiastes 4 and 16. Watch this, yeah? This is going to answer that question too.
Chapter 4 verse 16, it says, there is no end of all the people.
Hear that? There is no end of all the people.
Even of all that have been before them.
So all those people, remember back in them days, you had the Israelites, you had the Edomites, you had the Moabites, you had the, you had all Ishmaelites. Right. So God is showing you that those people are still here today. The only difference is they've been called by different names. They're not by their biblical names. So how you identify who people are who is by the prophecies. Now this was one prophecy that the Lord said was going to happen to the children of Israel. So if it happened to the so-called blacks, Spanish and Native Americans, we were taken from the West Coast of Africa by ship, shipped around the world. So it happened in 1492, the sub-Sahara slave trade. Then 1619, the transatlantic slave trade. It only happened to that group of people. So what would that make them?
1492, the Americans.
And then if you finish that out, just take from the top again and finish that out.
This is book of Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and 16. So like, there is no end to all the people, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity and vexation of spirit.
Now, remember now, the Romans was a large empire, were they not? Now, where is Rome? Do they call themselves Roman today, or do they call themselves Italians?
Yeah.
But they're the same people.
One people, yeah.
Exactly my point. So now, if you read that again.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Bring
into Egypt.
Bring back to Egypt.
Read it again.
Listen.
But listen. I'm listening. But remember, Egypt has been referred to as bondage or slavery. So read that again. He's going to bring it back into bondage or slavery.
Can I just say something to you quickly?
We are not going to hear any.
We are there.
That's the point. America has what on the back of their dollar bill?
Right now.
Pyramid, right?
Yeah, definitely. They represent
spiritual Egypt.
Exactly.
Right now.
Hold on. Sis, can you finish that up? Take the top again.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Into Egypt again with ships. So you're going to go back into slavery again, but this time by slave ships.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
So Moses saying the same way I said it's going to happen, that's how it's going to happen. Listen to this.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Thou shalt see it no more again. Israel, our homeland. Because remember, when they came out, that's where they were going to Israel, their homeland. But he said you're not going to see it again. Look at now, there's people in that land. If we want to go there, we only can visit. But we don't dwell in that land. Yeah? There's other people dwell in that land, claiming to be Jews. You go on.
And there ye shall be sold.
Hang on. Read that. He has to hear this.
And there,
so once you go off those ships.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Unto your who?
Unto your enemies.
Who were we sold to when we came off them slave ships?
Babylon.
Who were we sold to?
The white man.
Right, just say as it is.
Babylon. White man is Babylon.
So that's what, but look what, but listen, what did the Bible call them? Read that again.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
No, your friends.
Unto your enemies.
That's what the Bible calls them, not me.
Enemies.
Yes. The Bible says you're going to sell for what?
For bondmen and bondwomen.
Slave man and slave
and
women.
No man shall buy thee.
And now when it says no man shall buy you, that word buy in the Hebrew, remember that word buy in the Hebrew is qana, means to redeem. Meaning the only person that's going to save us out of this problem we're in is the Mashiach Yahushua, the one who called Christ. That's who we're waiting on to come and save us. But in the meantime, we have to keep the commandments of the Lord. Yeah? So the point I went there.
In the meantime, we have to wake up our people that's been destroyed. Our people's been destroyed. They don't know who they are, so this is why we come out. So when we got people like that that just want to yap, if you got so much knowledge, go and teach your people.
And if you think about it, we've dealt with that guy before. Yeah. So we've heard the spiel already.
Let me get
Brother, I want to show you something too.
So basically, what I was showing you, that if Moses is saying to the Israelites, this is what's going to happen to you, and that was a future prophecy, and then it happens to us, what would that make us? Because we're not going. Sorry?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, that's the point. You see,
There's many cultures that, well, what do they, tribe? From Israel, is that a tribe? 12 tribes.
there's 12 of us.
Yeah, but you got Israel. Yeah, and then you got the country Israel. But
Yeah, but
named
that,
after us.
it was named. Yeah, that it
Named
was
after
never.
us.
It was never called Israel back in those days. Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah,
you wanna say something?
I want to show you something. Yes. Come, brother. So my aunt mentioned to you that we will return to Egypt on ships. So this is more or less where our people were located when we lived in Egypt. This area here. So it's called Goshen. Right, look, Goshen. So this is actually where we was when we was in Egypt. Right? So this is Egypt. This is Israel here, right? This is the Sinai Peninsula. So if you notice, this is the route. This is the route. Walk! You can walk now. Yeah? Actually, if you try to take a ship, it would take longer. You understand what I'm trying to show you? Right. Then the next thing is you would hint into the scriptures, and you hinted that King James, Babylon, this, that.
Oh yeah.
Right. So listen to this now. Right. The scripture was written in this. So this is the earliest form of writing. So alright, so first off, you know what you call hieroglyphics? The glyphs, right? So you want hieratic and demotic. But the oldest form of writing was images. So when you go in the pyramids, you see the image like a hand and a foot. Right. So this is a similar writing system, but it's more basic. So how you know what is older is the more basic it is, the older it is, the more refined it is, the newer it is, right? So the oldest writing found today, pre-flood, meaning before the flood, right? No, it's a form of hieroglyphics is just what the Greeks wrote, right? But the earliest form of writing, which is the Sumerian text, is this same writing. No, I could read this. So when you're telling us that, oh, we're reading, no, we're reading the old Paleo Hebrew. We're reading it. I'm writing it. That's why I've got that written there. Right? So I'm just trying to, I don't know why the Spirit's on me today, but I'm just trying to...
Yeah, no, we don't. But could you imagine?
You said just wrap it up, because I want to wrap it up. Yeah. So what I'm just trying to say, I'm passionate today, I don't know what, Salak is, but what I'm trying to say is, when people come in front of us, know that we study, we pray to the Most High in His name. We try our very best to follow what He tells us to do. We come out here to share knowledge with people who want to learn like yourself. People actually want to learn.
I'm a learner.
Exactly. We're not here to ask people for money. We're not here for a show, for people to stop like it's some show.
No.
We are actually here for the elect children of Israel, the ones that are willing to receive the knowledge that we have. Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, are willing to listen. Even if they have a question, we try our very best to answer. So remember, every time you ask me a question, I try to answer it with documentation as well.
Whether you got different faith or
yeah,
knowledge, we're one people.
That's what we're teaching.
That's what I know.
Well, we are one people, but not everybody is one people. So I don't want to get in that misconception. I mean, like, we can say this, we all come from Adam, yeah. Oh, fine, but we are all not the same people because we don't have all the same spirit. Ethiopians don't have the same spirit as Israel.
They have
That's
the
a
same
fact.
look.
That we can have the spirit.
What do you mean this is Ethiopian?
Like,
my people's Ethiopian. My son's I went to Ethiopia. I see myself, before I went to Ethiopia, I saw myself as Ethiopian.
no, but what's your father? What's your father?
My father? Yeah. My father was born in Jamaica.
See, that's why I know you are not these people. I knew you weren't these people.
No, but I'm saying, no, because, remember, my father...
I know, I listen, different. I understand what you're saying. But what I'm trying to say, you're not Ethiopian.
I'm Ethiopian.
You're not.
You're not.
Because
What am I then? What am I then? Tell me what am I?
we're going to tell you.
You told me that I'm not. Tell me what I am.
Read
No,
it.
you tell me.
No, because we're going to read it. That's why I know he got it. Listen,
By the book, you have to tell me what I am.
Yes,
That's how we know what we are.
This is how we know what we are, because your spirit's different.
Right.
That's why I said we all
I've
know.
been to Chemet. I've been to...
Listen, I don't care if you've been. That's not the point.
My spirit leads me where I come from.
No.
Yeah?
No,
That's
no,
where my spirit leads me.
No, your
As you talk about,
upbringing has led
we
you.
was in Egypt.
Your upbringing has
Yeah?
led you where
We was
you,
in Egypt. So my spirit, as Christ went to Egypt, I went to Egypt. So my spirit led me where we was. As you said, we were there. So I went to Egypt. And from Egypt, you go round.
Yeah, you come with affection, man. I saw it.
So listen, man, just stand on that side.
Let me get some.
If I kind of say to you, brother, right, we've been bringing out about Egypt, right? And we were the ones that were enslaved in Egypt, us being Israelites, right? Those that were enslaving us, they were Hamites. The Ethiopians are Hamites. Those people had our ancestors, they had me and you in slavery. The thing about it is that these Ethiopian Somalians, they know that they're not us. It's our people that are lost, us being the lost tribes in Israel that don't know that we're not them. I was brought up a Rastafarian. So I was brought up on Selassie thinking I was Ethiopian. Their spirit is not the same spirit as us. The scripture says that we're the salt of the earth.
That's right.
They have no salt, my brother. They can't do what we do. Because we're the children of the Most High. They want to be you. But then you're not Ethiopian. You're not Ethiopian, man. You're Israelite. I'm from the tribe of Benjamin.
And this is why I was saying, like, the brother's gonna.
Joseph.
Hold on.
No, see again?
I want you to
No,
read that scripture.
no, he's right. You
I
are
am from the
Joseph.
tribe of Joseph.
That's your house up. So you're your house up.
He's saying that because he's going through the Rastafarian.
Yes.
I was born a Rastafarian, so I know what you're saying. The tribes have nothing to do
I was born. And you talk about because I was born and also.
My brother, I was born Rastafarian, so I know exactly what you're getting.
Hold on. Listen, read, listen.
She's not Ethiopian.
Hold on.
I was on the best she's Ethiopian.
All
She's
right,
not Ethiopian.
She could be Eritrean.
Why? Put it this way, she's a Hamite.
wait, she's
They're
people.
walking.
Let me read this for you. It says, listen to this. Exodus 11:7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue. Against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord does put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
Now, hold on. Now, right. But now listen to this.
Now, and you have to remember, Moses passed
Well,
by Pharaoh's
the Egyptians
grandson.
and the I can understand that point. Because, as you said, Egyptians and Israel, yeah?
No, but what I'm saying,
The original
Moses,
Egyptians. Huh?
You're the original Egyptians.
The original Egyptians.
Who are they?
I don't know. I would say the original Egyptians are black people.
but here's the point I was making. My point is this.
Africans. So whatever name they were called, yeah, we're one people. You can name us. If we stand up there now, no one can tell us.
The East Indian man, he's darker than me and you, right? East Indian, but the Bangladesh, because you can look at him and see he's darker than me and you. The Bangladeshi man.
The black man, the black man's full of complexity.
Listen, not all skin folk are kin folk, like the brother said. Just because someone's got melanin in their skin, Israel, man, just because someone's got melanin in their skin, don't mean they're the same people. That's how ignorance of people are.
Iceland.
Like, that's a major.
It's a major stumbling because people think that because he's dark skinned
He's your
as
people.
well, he's your people. No. Now listen to this.
Before you read that, I want to make this point. The reason why I read that scripture was Moses passed for Pharaoh's grandson, showing you that Israelites at times might look like the Egyptians. No.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say
I
to
just
you.
said, my brother, Moses looked like Pharaoh's grandchildren. No,
Yeah.
because they're different.
But
there's a difference.
No, there is a
Is there
difference.
difference?
The reason why they cook because he was dark skinned like them. There's various features that might seem the same, but one was a Hamite and one was a Shemite. So I read that to show you that even though we may look at times alike, we're two different races of people.
So a black race is not one race.
Hold on.
No.
We're going to show you.
Never been.
Who's got it? You got your tongue.
Chinese and Japanese. Black man for you now.
Chinese and Japanese. No, I'm rubber.
Yeah.
Chinese and Japanese are the same.
And they look alike, don't they?
Yeah, in Africa.
They're coming from the same. So the black man, man's not the black man then.
Hold on, wait. Now listen, I want you to hear this first. Listen to this. Listen to this first.
Right.
And then we're going to read you something from the biblical, because even the biblical, listen, white people, scholars wrote this. So even they know, I'm going to read you something after this, even they know that we're not the same people. Listen to this first, read that up.
This is the book of Genesis chapter 10. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah. So we know after the flood, Noah and his children, right? Shem, Ham or Cam, where Kemet comes from, and Japheth, 3 brothers. Right. So first I'm going to read.
No.
First I'm going to read.
Hold on a minute, they weren't triplets.
No. How can they be?
Were different ages.
Yeah.
How are they triplets and they're different ages?
Where'd you get the idea?
Hold on.
Could you allow me to read?
No, you said
You're
something to
asking
me.
another question.
No, because you said something to me.
Yeah.
Different ages.
No, I didn't. You said that.
You
said they're the same age.
I said triplet.
Right, that means the same age.
Then the brother said that they're different ages.
Yes.
And you can prove that to me. They're different ages. By the book.
No, hang on, let's do one thing at a time. Do that first and then do that, and then I'm going to show you that they're different ages.
It's my knowledge.
Yeah. No problem, man. That's
No
why we're
disrespect
here.
to your knowledge.
No, that's
My
why we're here.
knowledge.
No, I
And I can see that I'm older than any of you guys.
No, you're not.
How old are you?
I'm trying to define. I'm trying to use something to older. To guys.
I'm 60, more or less.
Yeah, when I say
So are you more than 60?
he's got me right.
So you might not
Put
even
me on the line.
you might not even be older than me.
I'm 2 years younger than this. So I'm older than you.
Only just.
2 years.
Only two.
I was trying to hold you guys, and this man come up and say, all right. But I'm here with my king, man.
Right, so these are the generations of the sons of Noah. So you have Shem, you have Ham or Cam, and you have Japheth, right? So the sons of Ham or Cam is Cush. So straight away it's telling you that Cush, which is known as an Ethiopian, are sons of Ham. But it goes further to prove it. And Mizraim, so Mizraim is it's a Hebrew Israelite word for Egypt. And Foot, or Foot is also known as Punt. So some people identify Punt as Libya. I identify Punt as Somalia. Why? Because they call the country Puntland.
That's right.
They still call it Puntland.
In Somalia.
Yes. And Canaan. So Canaan is the land that we now know as Israel. Right?
Today.
Yes. Now listen to this. And the sons of Cush.
Listen to this.
So you're gonna recognize these names: Seba or Seba or Sheba. You recognize the name?
Ethiopia.
Havilah. You recognize the name? Havilah is in Ethiopia. And Sabta and Ra'ama and Sabtaka and the sons of Ra'ama, Sheba and Dedan. You recognize the name?
Yeah, I recognize.
Right, so they are sons of Ham or Cam. Right.
Before you turn that page, I want you to read something on the same page.
Yeah, no, tell me what you want.
21.
Right.
Hold on, before you read that bit, 21, just to cover what you said about listen to verse 21 of the same chapter he was just reading.
Right. So this is the book of Genesis chapter 10 and verse 21. Unto Shem,
Listen.
also the father of all the children of Eber. So Eber is actually Abba, because there was no vowel. And Abba is what is now known as Hebrew.
Watch this.
Right, 21. Abba, the brother of Japheth, the elder.
Hear that? What did he say? The brother of Japheth, the elder. Showing there's different ages. That's why I went there. Yeah, just to show you.
Even this told you.
Who's the older son of
Japheth is the oldest, Shem is the middle, Ham is the youngest. Ham is the youngest, which we're going to read here. Hold that one.
Yeah, this is, no, we're going to talk about Ham.
Yeah.
Now, this is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Now, this is what the scholars them know.
They know
that
this.
they don't teach us.
Yeah.
Listen now, listen to this.
Do they call Africans Negroes or do they call us Negroes? Do they call like Ethiopians and Eritreans Negroes?
Who do they call Negroes?
right?
They called us, remember? Yeah.
Now, hear this.
Remember, when we went into slavery, what did they have them billboards? Negroes for sale. And it was our people.
Now, hear this.
coming from?
Yeah, that they were taken from who resigned in Africa. Remember, they approached on the Hamites'
Put everything
land.
together.
So you have to bear that in mind.
Now listen to this.
Watch this.
This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, page 213. That says Ham. the youngest son of Noah.
There you go. Shows you the age. This
Japheth
goes
to the elder.
Oh, that's the elder. That's 5.
Three. Shem, Ham, and
Japheth is the
Japheth.
elder, Ham is the youngest, so Shem would be the middle child.
Yeah. It says Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor or the forefather of the dark races.
See, they're dark-skinned, but listen,
Not the Negroes. But
showing you.
So he's the forefather of a certain dark race of people, but not the Negroes.
But it's-
Because we're a dark race of
It's
people.
gonna list it. Watch this. Listen to it. No, it's gonna list it. 4 families.
Listen, I'm going to read it. It says, where is that? He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. Hold on. Listen. But the Egyptians.
The Egyptians.
So he's the forefather of the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. Because are we a dark race of people? Yeah. But he's not.
Not of the Negroes.
Negroes.
Not of the Negroes.
Yeah.
No, you could use that one because I know what that means as well. Ning-dog. Yeah. You can use that as well. I'm all English, fam. I hear
I
you.
know it's a testimony for the brother to prove the point. Yeah,
Let me just
go on.
Not of the Negroes. So why would somebody say not of the Egyptians?
Because we are a dark race of people and we're being taught that we are Hamites. So he says he's the forefather of the dark races and it lists the races.
But not the Negroes.
But not the Negroes.
Why not the Negroes?
Because we're not Hamites. We are Shemites. We're not Hamites.
You have to get in your head.
All right, so
I'm going to come there because
when they say Negro in that book, who are the Negroes?
We are.
Yeah, but listen.
Why you just telling them not?
No, he says
Not from Ham.
we're not
of the Negroes.
Listen to what I'm saying. Hold on. He says Ham is the forefather of the dark races, and he explains the dark races: Ethiopians, Egyptians, Canaanite, and Libyans. But he's not our forefather.
Not the Negroes. Not.
He's not our. We're a dark race of people, but he's not our. We are Shemites. We are not Hamites.
You have to get
we
out
come
your head.
from Noah's
So the
son
Hamites,
Shem.
so who are the Negroes then? Where the Negroes come?
Where the Negroes?
We come from Shem.
We come from Shem.
So-called West Indians, so-called West Africans.
Now, before you read that, now I want to show something because remember, originally you said that your father is Jamaican, but you said you were an Egyptian.
No.
Oh, so like it's my
My father was, as you know, my father born in Jamaica. I born there.
Right now,
But not because I was born here. It makes me.
No.
China.
Don't worry, we understand that. But this is what I want to show you. Now, read Numbers 118. This is what I was trying to get out for ages.
Look at Numbers.
Remember, you are who your father is, and the Bible's in us.
Yeah, but when they say that,
No,
it's
listen.
not my physical father.
Of course it is. It is.
Not my
What?
physical
No,
father.
wait.
I can't be what my
Read.
physical father was.
Read. Hang on. Watch
When it says you are what your father is, it means whatever race your father is,
Yes.
that's what you are, regardless of what
Where you are
My
born.
father never saw himself as African.
That's not.
Well right to say that.
He's a Negro.
He was a Negro.
Well right to say that.
He was a Negro. So if
Why was he a Negro?
Hold on. If he was a Negro and you come from East Loin,
So you're trying to say-
hold on. No, wait. I want to explain something. If your father,
Watch this. Excuse me, are you black?
Yeah.
Oh, you're black?
I'm black, yeah.
Okay.
most of them
that's
don't.
Most of them don't say that.
normally say that. Yeah, that's a first.
I've been to Ethiopia. I lived
Hold on.
So they don't call themselves black.
They call themselves Ethiopian.
There you go. That's the point.
But guess what Ethiopian means? It means burnt face or black face. That's literally
Yeah,
what
but
it
that's somebody telling them. That's
means.
somebody
Yeah, but they're calling
telling them.
themselves that though, aren't
No, the Greeks.
No, you're correct, but what did they
But I
call
remember the
themselves?
Greeks would also
What did they call themselves? You just said it.
Ethiopian. Because remember, it's all, well, you know, what's the word I want?
It's
They told them in
indoctrination
there.
of
Yeah, they doctrinized them. And so if you go to Ethiopia today and say, are you black? They say, no, I'm an Ethiopian.
The point you're
But they
stuck
don't
on.
see themselves as we see ourselves.
Just quickly, the point you're
That's
stuck on
colour.
is that what you have to understand and get into your mind is that all people with melanin are not the same people. You have to
was the
understand
whole point.
what the so-called enemy done, that scripture says, is everyone that's got melanin, now you're black. The only people that call themselves black are the biblical Israelites. The Somalian don't call themselves black. The Bangladeshi don't call themselves black. It's the so-called West Indian, West African that call themselves black. Because they don't know their original identity.
Because they put us into that. They've been born under the regiment of the Europeans.
Now, with that said, can you read
Book
that?
of Numbers, chapter 1, verse
Listen to this.
18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees
That's their bloodline, their heritage, their pedigree.
after their families, by the house of their fathers.
By the house of their father. Because it's like this, right? Remember, man carries seed, yeah? Women don't carry seed. This is why we impregnate women.
Unless you listen to them stupid Egyptians.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that's another story. So a bit like this. Now, if I have an apple seed, let me give you an analogy. If I have an apple seed and I plant it in China, what's going to grow? Apple. And if I plant the same apple seed in America, what's going to grow? Exactly. So so that's the point.
From the
You're
same
the seed
seed.
of your father. Hang on. Your father planted the seed in your mother, and you grow to what you are now. So you're the seed of your father. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, that's a fact. But what's it give me? It doesn't give me. Gives you
It shows you who you are. This is why we went through the scriptures in the first place.
He went Ham, Shem, and Japheth, right? Nations come from men.
From men, yeah.
You see that? That's the point.
Yeah, we don't come from Ham. We come from
Shem.
Shem.
That's the point we're trying
But
to
they
make.
teach us that we come from Ham. Because there are another dark race that we can look like. That's why I brought out the Exodus 11 and 7. That there's a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. Even though Moses passed for Pharaoh's grandson, he wasn't a Hamite.
Yeah.
So what they did, but two different races of people. Yeah.
His wisdom, his knowledge, everything surpassed them.
But African race, just to use the African race as a black race.
But that's a bit too broad.
Africa be divided, so we can be broad.
No, but what I'm saying, they use that term for every dark race that comes from that landmass. And we're not nothing to do with the Hamites. That's my point.
Where you live doesn't determine who you are. That's the point.
No, he made that point himself.
Yeah.
So you don't need to read. He made that point.
It's not something you said it. It's not,
Exactly.
Now the brother made the analogy. He could sow his seed in China. Now is his child Chinese? No. His child is still a Benjamite or so-called Jamaican, born in China. That's the point.
That's like that girl that plays.
Yeah, but we're not true Jamaicans.
No, we're Israelites.
I don't want to be Jamaican. I don't want to be
You're not
Israel.
Jamaican.
No, we just
Why
use
would I
that.
be Israel? You see, the Israel is like the Israelites you see today are the European Israel. I don't think we're Israelites.
It's Israeli. Israeli.
You can call yourself an Israelite.
No, I'm saying the breakdown, they're trying to represent what we are, yeah?
That's right.
But that's what I'm saying. They're frauds. You know, maybe you've got, where's the country for us? Where's our country then?
They're in it.
They're in it. What we doing outside, bloody? What we doing in Brixton? Let's try and get our country.
Disobedience.
That's the whole point. So,
See, now he's on
Where the slaves over there?
Now he's on point.
let me do
You're not
Deuteronomy
freeing us.
28.
You're not freeing us then.
Listen.
You're not
we are.
This is
Yes, we
freedom.
are.
Deuteronomy
Your
28
mind.
and 64.
Free your mind, that's Marley said.
The first step to freedom is acknowledging that you're in bondage. Because
know I'm in
most
bondage.
people, have you seen The Matrix?
The movie, yeah.
Right. Remember Keanu Reeves when he was doing the text thing and somebody was asking him, do you know what The Matrix is doing?
Yeah.
Right, and then his curiosity piqued it. Right, that was the first step. You have to realize you're in a matrix.
I know that.
Because I know you do. I'm
I'm
just
just
saying.
saying.
The people.
I can't get out of it. I've been to Ethiopia thinking, let me get here stuff, and I come back with a family.
This will get you out of it.
That's what happened. And I'm trying to get out of Babylon. Every time as I said, I went to Ethiopia thinking that I'm going to live there or dead there. And then the Almighty give me a family, a wife, and come up and then have a child.
Took you out about it.
But I'm looking, I need to get out of Babylon.
So he was asking why we're not in the land. Why we're not there.
Why are we not there? Why are we not
Deuteronomy.
So when you read Deuteronomy chapter 20, it's blessings and curses.
That's why we're not there.
Yeah?
And that's
Part of the curse is this,
Deuteronomy
for breaking God's commandments, for breaking the covenant.
28 verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of
And
the
how
earth.
did he do that? What we read in 68.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth, even unto the other. And there thou shalt
And
serve,
where he scatters you,
and there thou shalt serve other gods,
other gods,
which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
So the wood is in Christianity today.
I know.
The stone is what we call Islam. The Bible's prophesying these things. Because when you ask them, a true Muslim is meant to make that Hajj to Mecca, yeah, and walk around that stone 7 times and then fight to kiss up the rock like
I know, right?
Did you know that stone come from heaven?
No, they said
regardless of where it comes from.
And the Prophet Muhammad picked it up and put it in there.
But here what? So then why? But even still, but listen,
it would have been a white stone.
But here what?
The black stone is a symbol of our people.
But here what? My brother.
Black stone from
My brother. Either way, why are you killing up yourself and kiss up the rock?
That's the point.
That's not even the maker. The maker made that rock.
I'm not saying you've got some people that go to idolism.
No, that's what it's telling us.
Idol worship.
The Prophet Muhammad himself, the best example
Of idol worship.
No, he wasn't idol worship.
And he wasn't even a prophet.
Right, can I make a point? I want to
I
make
know
a
he's
point
a
about
prophet. I know Christ is a prophet.
But his own Quran tells you that he's not a prophet.
The old Quran.
I showed you.
The messenger of Allah.
He's not a prophet.
I read it for you.
You guys are going to let me go home today.